Hello, and welcome to Handled Ish Productivity for the Imperfect, a weekly podcast for those who want to elevate their productivity but are not looking for perfection. I'm your host, Betsy Hayes, and I am so glad you're here with me in podcast land or on YouTube. This is episode 33, and today I want to talk about the idea of before you add, consider shrinking or subtracting. But before we get started, a little broken kneecap update. Oh my gosh, first of all, one of my dear friends gave me this book, and it is called I Used to Have a Plan, but Life Had Other Ideas. And the cover includes a woman who is doing a face plant. She's just laying on the ground with her face on the ground. And this could not be more perfect. Anyway, so again, humor, right? One of the keys to getting through life successfully. So leg update, went to the doctor last week. I still have about 5 more weeks of not being able to put weight on it, which of course is really hard. But after that, we'll take another x-ray and hopefully then be able to put weight on it and start physical therapy and all that stuff. Until then, going to be spending most of my time right here on my couch. They ended up putting two screws in it to keep the kneecap together. I have this really great x-ray with these two screws. It's pretty magical. Pretty impressed with the whole thing, to be honest, but that's the scoop there. So chugging along, chugging along. So to the topic today, something to think about, something I've been thinking about is before we add something to our life, really anything, right? A new routine, some new clothes, something for the house. Maybe it's a new activity, a new role, either inside or outside of work. I think it's important to consider whether you want to shrink or subtract something or more than one something in order to make it fit. So, first of all, before we continue this conversation, we're going to assume that these things you want to add are things that you really want to add. Okay. If it isn't, that's a whole nother set of thinking tasks. And we'll do a podcast on that soon. Maybe something we can call it something like how to not take on something you don't want to do. Because I know that's a whole nother story. But for this conversation, this is something you want to bring into your life. So we'll start with the easy one, right? Clothes. Some people have this whole idea of one in, one out, right? So every time you buy something, something else has to exit your closet. If that works for you, that's great. That is a good way to keep your closet a manageable size, keep your clothes, to the things that you really love and enjoy wearing. All of that is great. Another idea is that, before you shop, you can go through and organize your closet and your drawers to see exactly where the gaps are. And so you kind of have an idea of the types of things that you want to buy to bring into your wardrobe. I find that making notes about this works really well. Say you are looking for a particular shirt or pants or shoes or dress or blazer, and you can just kind of make a note of it. So next time you're out shopping, if you can be a little bit more strategic and look for the clothing items that you really need to supplement your wardrobe. Then of course it's a welcome ad, right? You've identified the need, you found something that you like, and then it can go in there and all is well, right? It's not causing you stress. The reason that we're actually even talking about this is the idea that sometimes we add and we don't subtract or shrink, and then we end up with overwhelm, right? Overwhelm of our closet, of our lives, of our time, of all of this kind of stuff. And so thinking about shrinking or subtracting as we're adding can sort of eliminate all of that. So, okay, back to clothing. So we could do the one in, one out. We can organize and have a list of, okay, these are the clothing items I really want. So when we go shopping, we're more strategic. Those are great. If that is not an option to organize your closet before you go shopping, because sometimes, you're on vacation and you're not even sure maybe that you're going to go shopping for clothes and you happen to find something that you truly love. one of the things that I have been trying to do is ask myself, okay, where am I going to wear this? Like exactly where am I going to wear this, right? If it's something for work, that's obviously easy. If it's more of a special occasion thing, where, or I'm going to wear this to this occasion, I'm going to wear this to this event, et cetera. So you sort of see yourself wearing it in your life. Because sometimes we sort of give into our fantasy selves when we're clothes shopping and we think, oh my gosh, this would be so fun if I, went on a cruise, and you've never been on a cruise, nor do you have a plan to go on a cruise. These are the kind of things that lead to stuff being in our closet that we never actually wear, right? So ask yourself, where exactly am I going to wear this? And if you want to do the subtracting also strategy, think about, okay, I'm going to buy this. I know exactly where I'm going to wear it. And sometime in the next week, I'm going to, purge my sock drawer or my t-shirt drawer, or, do a little bit of closet organizing and, figure out a couple of things that I haven't worn that I can donate. So again, you are adding to your wardrobe in a meaningful way, but you're not, just stuffing your closet full of clothes that you don't even know what's in there. And there's things in there that you don't wear, right? So with clothing, think about, as you add something to your wardrobe, what is something that you can subtract and keep things manageable. And again, we all want our closets and drawers to be, have things in there that we truly, want to have in there that fit and look good, and we're actually going to wear. So something to think about there. Same thing with the house. Say you are, it's fall, it's, lots of fun opportunities for holiday decorations for the home. Again, can bring you lots of joy. We're all about that. Before, you go out and look for additional holiday decorations, again, maybe go through and purge the ones you have and only keep your favorites. So you also know, okay, I would really like to have something for this table, or wow, you know what, I'm pretty good on things for the dining room table. I don't really have a lot of decorations for, the living room. Okay, I need to look at that. So I think this whole inventory before you buy thing, although it seems logical, is something I know I don't do all the time. And I know that when I do it, though, it definitely helps me make more strategic purchases. And then I'm doing the whole subtracting before I'm adding, because as I'm going through holiday decorations, I'm, thinking, oh gosh, you know what? The kids loved this when they were little, but I'm pretty sure they don't care anymore. So I'm getting rid of it. Or, I'd really, I have this new piece of furniture, I'd really like to get something for that, right? So you're doing a little bit more strategic planning. And have fun. That way you can get things that truly, you can use and can, bring yourself joy. As far as activities, right? We're, oh my gosh, I think I want to, add an activity to my life. I've been talking, actually had a conversation with my neighbors about, oh my gosh, this is the summer and fall. I'm going to learn how to play pickleball. Well, clearly pickleball will have to wait. But something, that you want to do, if you have an activity that you want to do, um, and add it in to your schedule, which perhaps already has a lot of things in it, like most of us, you really want to ask yourself, do I have time to do this? And the bigger question is, do I want to make time? And that was a conversation I had with myself actually about pickleball, because about the time that I was thinking I wanted to try pickleball, I was also thinking that I really wanted to join a yoga studio in town. And obviously that's a little bit more time intensive, right, than doing yoga online. And so I had to think, okay, well, how am I going to make time for this? How am I going to make time for travel? I have to make sure that the classes fit with my schedule as far as timing. Which is why I decided I was going to start yoga in the summer and then do pickleball in the fall. Now, probably pickleball will be in the spring. But how are you going to make time for this new activity? You want to start meditating. How are you going to make time to meditate? Does something else need to take less time in order for you to have time for that activity, right? Is it a shrink thing, or does something need to go entirely for you to make room for that activity? Which is why I think it's really great to think about our days very differently from each other, and not, we talked about this in the parenting podcast, that each day doesn't have to have the same schedule, right? We don't, a lot of times you don't necessarily need to leave work at the same exact time every day. Maybe you work a little longer or a little less, and it makes time for different activities. Um, and also different seasons, right? We have a lot more daytime in the summer. And so maybe that's the season for, more outdoor activities. And winter and fall can be, the season for a few more indoor activities. And the outdoor activities we let go until spring. So what things have to be smaller in your schedule, and what things maybe have to go in order to make room for this activity that you truly want to try and see if you enjoy it. On that note, if you try it and you don't like it, there's no reason you have to, keep going. And I know that sounds silly, but feel free to quit. So, example from my life, I took a belly dancing class, which still makes me laugh because the whole idea of belly dancing, I think, is so exotic and fun. And I really liked it. I did. I really liked it, but it just also wasn't for me. And so I ended up not going to all the classes, and that was okay. And I'm happy I tried it. Like I said, it was fun. It just didn't turn out to be something that I could see myself continuing to do. And so I just gave myself permission to not go back. And that was okay. Absolutely. Um, a role. Sometimes there's a new role that we want to take on, right? Maybe that's a volunteer role, or a role at church, or a role in a club that we are in, or a new role at work, right? And we really want to think that through too before adding it to our lives. Oftentimes, instead of just trying to fit something um, in that sort of like mushy, amorphous way. And I know that, we all say that, oh, I'll fit it in. It'll be okay. I'll make time. And there's been times in my life where that meant, getting up at 5 a.m. and on a regular basis. And that was not what I wanted, right? I didn't want longer days. I wanted to enjoy this new role that I had. And so, think about how it's going to fit in. Maybe there are things that you can delegate. If it's an out of work role, maybe you're free to your family. Or if it's an at work role, maybe to your colleagues. Can something be delegated so you can do this new role? Does something else you're doing need to happen less often? Doesn't mean that you have to ditch the thing altogether, but maybe it happens less often. At home, maybe that's, ironing, or, making sure there's absolutely no dirt anywhere in the house, right? Maybe while you're taking on this new role and getting adjusted, your, house cleaning bar maybe is not as high as it normally is. Or again, maybe you can delegate some of that stuff. So does something need to shrink? Does something need to change? What can you do in order to make room for this role that doesn't equate to longer days? Again, that's a choice. And if you want to make that, that's great. But most of the time, that's not what we want when we take on new roles and activities. Um, Sometimes the shrinking or subtracting, takes care of itself. So projects will end and there will be some additional time available, or seasons end, if it's a sports activity or something, you can become an empty nester or change jobs, or, sometimes life will provide the shrinking and subtracting for us. And then we have time to potentially add more things, and whether that's activities or roles or anything else. And that's great, because that does give us an opportunity to add stuff to our life that we might enjoy. But I really caution you to not panic. And I know this might sound a little weird to some of you, but probably not to most of you. There's sometimes we'll see an opening in our time and in our schedule, and we want to fill it immediately. And sometimes we overfill, right? We think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have all this free time. I can take on this and this and this. Usually that's not the case. And to be honest with you, it's best if we actually get to that place where we see how much actual time that we have available, and then fill that time. So it's often less time than we think. And we don't want to end up in an overscheduled place because we've gotten nervous or excited about the fact that there is time opening up in the future. There's been, I can think of a couple distinct times in my career where I changed roles and I thought I was going to have all this free time. And I took on too many roles, and then I had to shrink and subtract. And that wasn't as pleasant as the second time I saw that happening. I was very cautious about filling that time because I really wasn't sure how much free time I would actually have based on the changing of the role. And that worked out a ton better. If you can have the patience and just kind of wait to see where those time blocks end up arising, that's often so much better because then you can see the actual time available. Really think about what your energy level is based on the change in your life. And maybe you don't want to add anything. Maybe you just want to enjoy this amorphous extra time. And maybe you do want to add something, and that's also fine. Again, the only vote that counts is yours in your life. I'm going to say that again. The only vote that counts is yours in your life. So I want us to think about that. So all of that to say, adding is great. However, I'm just going to encourage all of us that before we add anything, right? Clothing, stuff for the house, activities, roles, whatever it is, maybe we think about what we should shrink and or subtract before we add. And then I think things just end up being much more happy and smooth. You end up with more things that you're actually using that you own, more things that you're actually enjoying because they fit into your schedule, and a more balanced, happy life, which I kind of think is what we're all looking for, right? I can't wait to hear what you think about this. I would love to hear your thoughts. Social media at Betsy Hayes, BetsyHays, my website, betsyahays.com. While you are online, if you want to rate or review the podcast or share it, that would be even better. I would love to get more folks to be part of our community and share what they think. That would be absolutely amazing. Be sure to tune in next week for the next episode of Handled-ish, Productivity for the Imperfect. Until then, please take care, and you better be kind to yourself because you are doing way better than you think you are. Trust me. Thanks.